Hi, guys. I am here with Audit LA today. A very, very special surprise. Say hi, Audit.
Hey everyone. Hey chat. Thank you for having me, Antics.
No, thank you for coming on and for helping us out with this because I wanted to do Monday. Someone said they were going to call in and they had all these questions. And I said, you know what? I need to go over it again. Wednesday, audit's going to be there in person, so I'm not going to be streaming it. But Friday, I'm going to stream it. So Friday, I'll go over it. And then Wednesday, you said the exact same thing. You're like, I need to go over it again. I was like, why don't we just do it together? Because you have all the information and I have all the questions. So.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so let's do it together. And so I'm doing it tonight. And that way it's ready for tomorrow. If someone's planning on watching it tomorrow, they can go and watch it on replay. But I'll just say real quick what I do. And then hopefully some people will show up and we'll get some questions in chat. But what I do, because I've been going to the website and posting the meetings, what I used to do was go to Amy M. And Amy M did such a great job. She was always so fastidious and reliant and did it every time for the Public Works call and for the Police Commission call. She would post them. And I got so spoiled and lazy and used to her doing it. And it was such a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And I always would say, give Amy half the credit of all of my calls because she does all my homework for me. Well, Amy is taking a step back just for in real life stuff. And not that she's leaving the community. And I thought, you know what? As a thank you to Amy, I'm going to pick it up. So I started posting it. So what I do now, after I look it up, I have it on my posts. So I already posted for tomorrow. So what you want to do is go to my page, go to my post, or when in doubt, go to Audit LA's page. Audit posts a lot more meetings than I do. I just mainly post the Public Works and the Police Commission. Audit posts all these neighborhood council ones that she's so experienced with all of these meetings. So she's your go-to. Sometimes she'll just post reshare mine.
Yes,
Anyway,
that helps me a lot, not to cut in, but I am so grateful. I was always so grateful to Amy. I'm so grateful to you because those are like
yeah.
the little housekeeping things, whatever, that I sometimes I'll just forget. And so I not only do I share it from you, and then I'll share it with people who. So I
The
appreciate
way
you doing that.
uh, the way I look at it is you already do so freaking much. You go to all these meetings in person, which is exhausting, and you go to like 3 a day some days and like 2 or 3 days a week if not more. And so I figure the least I could do is make it accessible and make it easier for you and just take one of the secretarial sort of tasks off of your plate because audit comes home and then she's like bombarded with emails and all this other stuff she's got to catch up on. So I just thought it was a nice way that I could contribute.
It's
So,
so
and I
helpful, and I'm
really,
so grateful.
yeah, well, I was so grateful when Amy did it. It was just
Right?
something
Me too.
made it so made it so easy and it was so nice and I really appreciated it. So I thought the least I can do is take care of it until Amy gets back. As soon as Amy gets back, I'm putting her back to work.
Right?
So
I know, but I
I already
appreciate both of you.
yeah, I know. She's great. I really miss Amy. I love Amy. And if she's listening and watching, love you, Amy. Hope to
Yep,
see you
I
real
love you too.
soon. Hope you're doing well. So I go to my page and then I will link the agenda. Sorry, my tablet keeps blacking out on me. I go to my agenda on here and then you just pick default browser or whatever. And you can see the agenda items and see if there's anything relevant. I'm going to get back to this because I want Audit to go over this with us, but I'm just showing you the quick, easy version on how you actually do the thing. And then we'll go into like how to best do it in the questions with Audit. So on here, there is a Zoom link. You can just click on it from there and it'll take you right into Zoom. Or if you don't even want to attempt the agendas, there is the Zoom link on my page too. So here they'll have the commission meeting. Right now, I'm not going to be able to get in. But when you do get in, normally it'll have three little buttons down here, and one will say raise your hand. So that's what you want to do because you can come in and just watch and they won't call on you. But if you raise your hand, they'll call on you and ask you if you have if you want some time during the public comment section. You say yes. They might ask your name, but you could say your name is Turtle Dove. They don't care. And then they'll ask if you want to do agenda items either at that time or later. And you can just say no if you don't, or you could say yes. And if you're not sure what to say, just say minutes. And then that buys you time. And then you could look at, or say multiple agenda items. And it buys you time to look at the agenda items and decide if you have. I've done that a number of times where I just had woken up, rolled out of bed, logged on. So I said yes that I wanted to. And then when it got time to do it, I'll say, oh, I actually only want to do minutes, or I changed my mind or whatever. So that's the basic walkthrough. Now we get to the questions section where audit comes in handy because audit is the lady with the know-how. Do we want to go over the agenda first, audit? What do
Sure.
you want
Yeah,
to
we could
do
do that
first?
kind of like how we kind of walk through it. And I could give a little bit of, like say how to approach the meeting. And at
Yeah.
times it may seem right intimidating, but I would say try to check in 10 minutes beforehand if you can, within those 10 minutes, because they go over beforehand. They kind of go through everybody, say, are you here for public comment or anything? And you say you just want to start with public comment, you'll get a minute, which is
I
not a
think
lot
it's
of time.
echoing through mine. So let me turn this one off. There we go. Oh, that's going to take me out completely if I do that. Oh, I think, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we shouldn't have an echo now. Are we good now?
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was.
I'm
It's
hearing an
still a
echo, but
little tiny bit of an echo. Damn it.
I don't know what that is.
It's mine. It's mine. How's it now? No, it's still an echo. Maybe if I
You might have
take this off screen, doing the wrong thing.
a chat. Wait,
You
I
can't
forgot.
you
Oh, you're
can't hear
back?
me at all if I do that.
No.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Is it more than one thing open?
Yeah, because I'm showing my tablet and it's on my tablet.
Oh, maybe at the mute one,
I do
like
have
one
it
page.
muted. That's the thing.
Oh, oh,
But
weird.
maybe I'll just mute mine in between you talking. All right, so you can
Okay.
keep going.
Okay. So how I approach it is that when you call in like a few minutes early, get on the list and you kind of figure out what you want. And you look at the agenda item, and see it, because I always call talking on agenda items like a backdoor way to, to get extra time to speak. Sorry, oh, my dog's gonna be barking. Someone's at the door. But and so you go through it, and at first everything's going to seem crazy because it's, public works, and it's like, what the heck is all that? But then eventually you start realizing, hey, there are things that are relative. And there might be something that you listen to that you see that's like, okay, it's not Scientology related, but hey, as a, someone dealing with the city issues, this is important. I want to speak on that, sometimes about tree cutting or whatever. But the way to do it is like you have your 2 minutes, okay, your 1 minute, sorry, your 1 minute with this meeting for public comment. And that's on anything that is not on the agenda. And it has to be the purview of the public works. So that would be anything dealing with the Bureau of Street Services, sanitation, engineering, things like that, and infrastructure things. And so Scientology, like how you would relate that would be with permits, right? Because they're the ones that issue the permits, the Bureau of Street Services. Or you could talk about the anything dealing with the encroachments. We were talking about the planters that are gone, but stuff like that, and or their all their events and anything like that. And then when it comes to agenda items, you kind of look, and there's some that always do make, like I would always say, instead of just saying, because I think a lot of times maybe people get skeptical, they just say, I want to talk on the minutes, because that's a single agenda item and that's supposed to go after the item. So if you just say agenda, like I want to talk on all agenda items, and then even if you just end up talking on minutes, you could just say, I yield back the rest of my time. And
I
sometimes they,
do have a tip about that. Make sure you follow AuditLA because sometimes you'll hear what she's talking about. She'll like start talking about agenda item number 5, and then you realize, oh, I could tag onto that. So I do that sometimes too.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a lot. And a lot of times we all work off each other because, and a lot of times it'd be something like I might be speaking, I get cut off, I get a minute, but then somebody else will say, oh, I want to follow, I want to take, continue what she was saying. And so we kind of all help each other out and we get everything that needs to be said between all of us. And, but with the agenda items, if you just say, keep it open to all agenda items, you can just then do one item and say, I yield back my time. But sometimes they may let you go over the minute or it gives you more time. And other ones that are very good to deal with is you can talk about, because it has for the neighborhood councils, a portion. And you can always say, well, I want you to reach out to the neighborhood councils because the bigger street services are not reaching out to the neighborhood councils, notifying them of these street closures and these permit closures, and they have a right to be notified. So that's another way to talk about Scientology, even though it's an agenda item, it's not really about it, but it's about neighborhood councils. But as long as you're making it relevant and you're talking about the neighborhood councils, it's very important that everything has to be relevant to either the agenda item or their purview. And another one that's good is they often have Bureau of Street Services status updates on major road improvements. Okay, and we know that he's getting up there talking about the 101 where we're going to be working on this stretch of whatever, but it doesn't, it makes it very, it doesn't say that. So it just says major street improvements. So I will often say, well, the improvements I want, or other people say the improvements we want to see on the, what for Bureau of Street Services to do is to remove the bricks or rename it, or and stop these, they put parking back and all this stuff. So there's ways to get our message out beyond that 1 minute. You just have to be a little bit creative with it. And sometimes I'll also do like with the bids, they're doing bids for trying to collect bids for different projects. And you can say, well, we have to be careful when you're bidding to these companies that they don't use slave labor, or that they don't they're not labor trafficking people. And, because that's what, Scientology does. And we have these issues. And mind you, the lawyer, the city attorney may say, if they call you off topic, don't let that throw you. Don't get intimidated by it. Don't get scared. I mean, either you say, okay, and you can change topic, or, if you want to be done at that moment, to say, I yield back the rest of my time, or challenge it. Like I've challenged it many times and say, well, it is on topic because you are, you're trying to get, you're trying to secure a company, and I'm just warning them that I want this to make sure that this is not something that, that what Scientology does, slave, labor trafficking, stuff like that. Sometimes you just have to be creative, and if you're just calm and just don't take it as like a slight on you or you did anything wrong or whatever, they sometimes will just challenge, and like I said, it's up to you, your own personality. If you like, I like to fight back and challenge it. And if I am off top, I'll say, yeah, you're right, you got me, and I'll move on. There's been those days too. But it's just, and they know we're just creative, like trying to, bring our message out. And
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it as long as you do make it on topic, because
yeah.
I said, I'm just comparing and contrasting, right? Like I'm comparing and contrasting this issue with my issue, but they're
Yeah, you're
related.
really good at that. And that was something that when you brought up, we could like tag off of each other's comments. That's the point I was making. We need more people to call in because you can't say that much in 1 minute. But if we have 10 of us calling in, that's 10 minutes. And you can tag off the next person and get something else out. And we could get a lot more of the message said every meeting.
Yeah. And also sometimes there's people that they can't do it. So there's only maybe four of us, or I think there's three or something. So it gives a lot more room. And now
Yeah.
they do have the rule of only 10 minutes, but so far, thankfully, for the most part, I mean, the new president has been very gracious, and if somebody's on there letting us talk, and I hope he continues to be gracious. They really need to give more time. But President Corsan changed it to 10 minutes. It was, I think, indefinite prior, but
I
it's
feel like
okay.
I'm owed 3 minutes because they've skipped me 4 times. Only one time was I able to retrieve my minute back.
Well, we can do a cure and correct for that if you wish. Just give me the dates of I forget if you know what
And then I
dates.
wouldn't have it to bitch about. But how would a
That's
cure and correct work? I don't even know.
well, a cure and correct, and I mean, they have some of mine which they have not done, so I could sue them. I technically can sue them for not doing it. but I don't want to be so antagonistic with Public Works because they're actually, they've been really pretty good to us. But it works in that any kind of Brown Act violation, you can say, okay, you violated the Brown Act. And so we need you to cure and correct it. And so you like say like they have to get, if you're there and it's still open, they can't just skip over you. So they have to give you your minute. So you're saying um, the cure is for you to give me back to make a public apology or to give me my time back, or something. And if they don't do it, then you could do further charges. Like I said, it's not always worth it, but that's how they got but that can be really helpful because like say with the city council, they stopped public comment, like phone-in comment. And I believe that's what, these cure and corrects led to legislation to now where come the new year, they're going to have to allow all the city meetings have to allow the Brown Act has been updated to include Zoom or call in for all meetings. So, which is great. So we're going to have more meetings. So you guys will be able to call for city council soon. And, it may be like the police one where they only pick a few, but if you get in, then you get in and it's great. But
Yeah, it's funny. I have my tablet open now, and I don't have the echo at all. And I do it with my tablet open every knitting stream, and I managed to not have an echo. So I don't know what was going on there, but it doesn't seem to be echoing now.
no, it sounds
Weird.
good now. But the Keurig card, like I said, it just makes the point, like you're putting it on the record, it puts it on the record. And even if you don't pursue it, whatever, for me, it just makes a record of it and it puts them on notice. And then,
Yeah, yeah, so Tori tried to call in, and she's experienced with Zoom. She didn't have a problem with the Zoom. I told her, put your hand up. She didn't click the link though. She went into her Zoom and then was like, hey, what's the meeting ID number? And this is where I confused her. This is where I messed it up, not her. I said, I was typing really quickly because I was getting ready to speak myself, and I'm texting her. And I said, here's the ID number. And she just saw ID number and thought she was supposed to type in the words ID because it did it like I'd without the apostrophe, like a big I, small d. So it didn't
mhm.
look like ID number. It looked like ID and then the number. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
she
like
thought the
yeah,
ID was part of the number, and that threw her off. And by the time we got that corrected, they had just wrapped up public comment. So then I was telling her, just say you want to speak minutes, say minutes. And then she's like, why is this guy talking so long? I'm like, because he said all items. I'm like, you could say all items and, figure it out once you get up there, but you can guaranteed at least speak on the minutes. Just make sure to at least mention the minutes once. But I'm texting her this while she's watching the meeting, and it was just like a day late and a dollar short. It was she didn't catch the part where I said you had to say about the minutes in time. But after the meeting, she was like, "What a bunch of scientos on that council," and she was a little riled up. So I think we're gonna see her again, hopefully tomorrow. But maybe not because her schedule is usually a late night schedule, so she's usually not up that early. So we can't really count on her being there tomorrow. But I did send her the information, and I know she does want to. So it's just a matter of how well she sleeps tonight, basically.
yeah, I would love to have her on. And maybe we need to maybe describe a little bit of like maybe like what does it mean to say about the minutes because the breakdown that might like if she's never done a meeting like we've become you guys have all
Yeah.
become pros and so
Yeah.
when you have
And how many times do most of us do it before we ever even attempt agenda items? Usually we just start with public comments. And then here she missed public comments and was starting on agenda. So yeah, it threw her off and she didn't know what to do because she's not done it before. But
yeah
the next time, hopefully she'll get on early enough and we can do the general items. But I had given up on her joining. I thought, oh, well, she's not going to do it. And then it was my turn to speak left next. So I had turned off my notifications so it wouldn't interrupt the meeting. And I was preparing to speak. And after I spoke, I looked and saw she was texting me during that time saying, hey, what's the number? I'm ready. So So it was just one of those days where nothing quite went right, but it wasn't, don't think it was like, oh, Tori messed it up. No, if anything,
No,
I messed it up.
no, no one did. It's very it's hard to understand it, but and it's not her, especially if you're, in the morning and like such short notice. So maybe what we need to do, because she's more of an afternoon person, is like doing either like say Central Hollywood Neighborhood Council. That's a really good
Oh,
one, and
that's
that's
an
at
excellent
night.
idea.
Yeah, and then she could, we have enough time to before the meeting, and and go through like here's the Zoom, the link, like you said, rather than hitting the
Yeah.
Zoom. Yeah,
That that's the ticket. That's an excellent idea. We need to do that.
yeah,
That's
because
the
that's
way
the
to go, I
evening. Like,
think.
yeah, because hey, we're not everyone's a morning girly, so and that's
Hmm.
fine. That's she's up late and everything, and it's hard to, and especially when you're just being thrown into something new, like
Yeah, and she has medical issues. I mean, she's openly talked about it, so I don't feel I can't say it. She has a seizure disorder, and I have a seizure disorder, and I know sleep is really crucial to stay on a regular pattern. So for her to get up early, it's disruptive for her pattern and her system, and that can be dangerous for someone with a seizure disorder to not have their regular routine. But she had to change up her routine because she had to have a little cancerous malignant cell removed from her forehead. Again, I'm not giving out private medical information. These are things she openly streamed about it just 2 days ago. So I felt I could say that. But because of that, it disrupted her pattern. So she's been getting up a little earlier. So I seized on the opportunity when she said she was going to bed early because she's been waking up earlier. I was like, note to self, she could do the public works call. So I jumped on it, and she was so game to give it a shot. I mean, what a trooper. I was really happy she
yes.
was going to do it. It just didn't work out, but it will. We'll get it right. And I think you're right. The neighborhood council's the way to go maybe with her.
Yeah, even the afternoon, like sometimes not the city council because they don't have the Zoom yet, but like the bonk meeting, even though bonks are like a really kind of crazy meeting, it's even confusing to me, like how they have it structured. But she may be really interested in that one too, because the president of that council, Len Schaefer, knows that we're not making this stuff up about Scientology because he
Well,
was, with the Allard case, if that's like from this.
yes.
Yes, and so he's like he was the district attorney, the deputy district attorney who said no, no, I'm not going to charge Allard for that, and even testified in Allard's lawsuit against Scientology, saying yeah, Scientology witnesses
And
were like not forthcoming. They're like some,
so,
and so he knows what we're talking about is true,
yeah, so he's a valuable resource that we can utilize. And
but he's
also,
grumpy.
the BUNC stands for Board of Neighborhood Councils. Is that correct?
Yes, and they're
Yeah, I just wanted to
commissioners,
make
and
that
yeah,
clear.
they
And so
oversee
what
the
that
neighborhood councils.
Yeah, so what that means, it's all the neighborhood councils report to that committee and go to that committee. So you're not just telling one council at that point, you're telling all the neighborhood councils when you go to bunk. So it's a really important meeting.
Yeah, and right. Well, in a sense, it's like they provide like like because there's 99 neighborhood councils, and so they're the ones like if they have an issue, if they have a problem, they can go to Bonk, but also Bonk creates certain like what the training requirements are. They can do like because even though every neighborhood council has some autonomy and how they
Sure.
structure their committees, I mean their councils, Bonk has like the overlying things that it's kind of like the federal government and the neighborhood councils are the states, if that would make sense. It-
Yeah, so they have autonomy within certain parameters.
right, but there's always that federal over, like that.
Yeah,
It can't contradict that.
the
And
bunk
so,
sets the parameters.
yeah, and then there's done in between the two, and so it gets kind of crazy. But yeah, so Don Bonk is important because I at first like Laura and I were like we let him, the president has to be Sciento because he's so always like this past meeting I think he knocked trying to get me off topic and silence me like 4 different times. So now I know I have to go in person, so he can't do that. But because I will argue it out, I won't back down with this stuff. But and I sent them letter. I sent because he said you have to talk to the whole commission, and fine. And I sent them all emails talking about how he was the hero in this. He was the absolute hero,
Yes, that was brilliant. I loved that when you did that.
And so like, but what have you done since, right? What are you doing now? Like, this is true. Like, what we're talking about. Like, and if you aren't saying anything or helping us, then shame on you because you know better.
Yeah, I love that you spoke directly to him, directly to his past experiences and resources that he has at his fingertips because he's been there, done that.
Yep. And even well, he called me off topic. He goes, you have to talk to the whole board. I'm like, okay, then I talk. See, that's how you do it, right? When he calls you off topic, saying, the rules are you have to address the whole board, not one individual person. Then it's like, okay, you don't skip it. You say, okay, I know this whole board understands that the president of this whole board,
Yeah,
and you just do it. Like you just push back. It's okay to push back on them, and I know at first people get nervous and stuff, but then don't realize that it's actually cathartic, like,
yeah,
right? It's like therapeutic, like it's better
yeah,
than, in my opinion, sometimes. Like, it's so therapeutic to talk to these people, the people that, like frustrate, because it's like, right, we hate how the cities, we hate how this is being run. So you get to go talk to these people who have some power, even though they're
yeah.
not like endless power. Like I know public works can't just snap their fingers and fix everything, but still, they're the ones that can make a difference. Or you keep like, it's like you get to hound them.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to get across. It's like every time you watch one of these protests and you watch these permit violations and you watch Ashley be assaulted for trying to just do what is supposed to be within her rights to do, which is walk down a freaking public sidewalk. Every time you watch one of those and you're like, you get pissed off and you think, someone should report this. Someone needs to do something. Well, you're someone, I'm someone. So let's do something and let's talk, let's talk to the ears that maybe have a chance of doing actual something about it and make these reports, file these complaints, air these grievances. And it's really cathartic and it's such a great experience to be like, okay, I said something. I got someone to hear me at least. Whether they do anything with that information, maybe not. But if they hear us long enough, we keep nagging them long enough, eventually they're going to get sick of us and maybe do something about it.
Well, and they already have it if we really look at it, if you really want to evaluate it. They used to remember, like, at first they had like 8 months straight of endless street permits. Never a day, not, I don't think one day went by where they didn't have it for 8 months. Now, I think they've only had five this year. Like, they are absolutely on restrictions on how many they can have. So that's a huge changeover, like and
Well,
now they have to enforce the street sidewalk opening. But although they tried, they got sneaky and built like a bleacher thing, or like a stand right there to block it this time. But then
yeah,
but then it's important. I do a lot of follow up after the meetings, like
yeah.
when Ashley got, whatever, there's police complaints, there's, like letters to everybody, everyone, and you just have to, if anyone has extra time to do that stuff, just bombard them with,
Well,
ex-
I would argue that you're the most effective protester we have going. And here's why I think that because every one of the protesters has had an amazing win of some sort. They've each saved someone or got reached ears of someone questioning it that they got to not go in. So they've all been hugely effective. But when audit goes up before these boards, she's reaching the whole council and she's the one that got the planners down. She's the one that got them to start acknowledging the fact that we are allowed sidewalk access. And hence, she's the one getting fair gamed the most, guys. And then when Laura started doing the meetings with her, that's when Laura started getting fair gamed. So we're getting to them if they're going to exert that kind of effort against two ladies that the world would just simply call Karens speaking at a council meeting. But the council actually has ways of making changes that actually impact the way they do things day to day, the way they've been circumnavigating these permit restrictions and police requirements and the inspection and all of that. So that's why Lara and Audit are getting the most feedback. And that proves to me, Audit, that you're the most valuable and effective protester in the anti-Scientology movement that we have at this moment. And I want to thank you for that. You're amazing.
That's sweet to say, and I appreciate that. But I see it as like it's like the group of us, right? It's like it's not me like up there just talking, and then what it's got to be overwhelming to them to have people. And we always try to say like, just don't make it sound like you're from all over the world, because although the lovely accents, I love every time there's an accent. The guy, what I mean, like, because the Irish, and so it sounds like the world is calling, which is great. But then, like, I feel they might tune out if they're like, oh, I'm not in the area. So then they're like,
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean? So which I always say, like,
Well,
don't let them know you're not here, but it's got to be overwhelming to them to have like 10 people three
yeah.
times a week or, you know,
Yeah.
however many people. It's like, that is like bulldozing them and they don't know what to deal with
Eventually
it.
they're going to want to do something better so that we stop nagging them and they don't have to
Maybe
keep
they'll miss
hearing
us
us.
though. I'm like, are you going to miss us? Are you trying to, are you not doing anything because you want to keep us? You'd miss us, right? You know, but,
That's true.
but I think there's like little changes happening and there's like some challenges right now because like with the parking, I know they're very mad about that, but that's what, you know, the Department of Transportation and, you know,
Yeah.
they're very angry that we're kind of unsafe pointing a lot of their, you know, stuff and looking at their
Yeah,
permits that they don't have for certain things
exactly.
and inspections that haven't been happening for certain things. And so it's
And you're right,
every angle.
it does take the whole group of us, and we've had some amazing supporters. I mean, Ice to
Hmm.
See, Miriam. I don't want to leave anyone out, but Nora. I mean, we've had a lot of people. Jamie called in.
Ganja, Jamie,
Yvonne calls in like
Yvonne,
almost every time Yvonne calls in, and she's
Peter.
always got such well researched, thought out things. Peter's been calling in. Ganja has like really nailed it a few times that I've just been like, whoa, way to go, Ganja. I mean, we
Yeah,
just have these amazing people calling in and they've been so tenacious and so persistent. And Amy M, the way she advocates for the children, I mean, they
yep.
all have a
Eyes to
different
see.
message. Yeah, and they all have a different message that they bring in and contribute. And it's really
Yep.
great to
And a different
see.
style, right? And a different flair.
Hmm.
And one thing I like about Ganja is she's really good at is like say like my minute ends, whatever. She's one of those ones who can pick up like right where like it reminds me of basketball, right? I drop the ball and then she picks it up
Yes.
and that's like a tag team. And then Yvonne, man, Yvonne actually goes Yvonne is she actually calls, I mean, reads all the packets. Like it could be a
Yes.
1,000 pages. She will read
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like,
She researches it and she's always got
yeah.
such thoughtful research, thought provoking things that she says. She does an excellent job. And she's so consistent. She's there time and time again. And I noticed Lara does really good at picking up where someone else has dropped off too. She'll like tag on
Yeah.
to what the person before her said. Me, I've seen Miriam do that. I've tried to learn to do that, but I'm not as good as they are. But I've seen it happen and know it can happen more. And it's really exciting.
No, but you're really excellent too. Look, hey, you know, we even had you know, what Michael Ackerman make a comment. Wow, antics always, you know, like is really good at, you know, what she says. I really like her comments. So you have like a
Nice.
right, like a fan base there,
That
and
made me feel so good. I was really happy to hear that. I subscribed to him right afterwards, and he subscribed to me too.
oh
But
yeah, he's a
one of the
sweetheart.
things that you mentioned about it being local, that's why after I went up there, because I took pictures of things while I was up there. So after I went up there, when I make my comment, I'll say, when I was last at the Big Blue Building, I drop those sort of things in because I've been there, I've walked around, so I can do that. But I try to do that as often as I feel I can because I want them to know I'm not just some person from the other side of the world calling in. I'm a local, I'm a
Right.
Southern
And
Californian.
you know, for not right, because you're people are there through the, you know, they're watching it, you know, on YouTube. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, you know, like this is what's going on there. It's like, you don't need to
Well,
know if you're watching it or if you're seeing it,
Well,
you
and
know.
the thing is, that's why I used to start. I used to say I saw this lady in a wheelchair, which was you, of course. But I didn't have. You don't have to lie either. You could say, "Well, I
Mm-mm.
saw this happen." But also, it doesn't matter if you're calling from halfway around the world in my book, because any one of those people could be a tourist that wants to come to LA, and they see this bullshit going on, and they're like, "Well, I don't know if I want to go to LA. LAPD is so corrupt. They're not listening at the council meetings. Blah blah blah." So every voice has a lot of value, even if it's just backing up audit. It's a lot of value. So you don't feel like you're being dismissed because I
Oh,
said
heck
that.
no. No, I want
Yeah.
everyone from around the world. I love it. I just, you know, but see their perception, and Yvonne made this really good point. Like, that was like their perceptions are like, well, because I've heard them comment about that stuff before, like, well, do you live here and, you know, and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. But, you know, like now with Zoom and with the internet community, like everything, it's not so time, like time and place has
Yes.
changed. And so
Exactly.
it really is a community because if you, I don't care if you're in Germany, whatever, and you're invested in what's going on at that building, you
Yeah.
are, in my opinion, have every much an interest as if you're a
Yeah.
taxpayer, you know?
Well, particularly because we're trying to get or we're getting the Olympics coming in, and
Yep,
these worldly citizens are watching this and they're second guessing whether they want to be involved or they want to
right.
travel to Los Angeles. And Los Angeles, particularly Hollywood, is very reliant on tourism.
It is, and it's been going down, and they're opening up this new convention center. And I'm like, who's going to want to come here? So that's the perfect thing, right? People around the world, because like it's like I don't want to go there. Who wants to go there if
Yeah.
Scientology owns your city and you have no sidewalks or whatever? It's so yeah, it's
Or
definitely
you have this
open.
cult that you're letting bypass all of the parameters of their permits. I don't feel
Yeah,
safe there.
but
And
yeah,
it's funny you mentioned Germany because I was just going to say that one of my German watchers, I'll shout her out, Mach mir Duckigel, Sophia, was saying, yeah, I would never want to go to LA after seeing some of these streams and seeing the way they behave and the way the LAPD is. And, we're having the Olympics very soon. And we
yeah.
have international citizens saying that repeatedly about that city. So
Then they
it's
should call
valuable to
in.
know what they say.
Yeah, and it's okay. We're not saying don't call and say you're not from, but but I think like in their ears, they want to know like, okay, like if they can't vote the mayor in who keeps my job, you know what I mean? Like, like there's that bias, but it doesn't matter. Anyone could call in from anywhere and say, hey, get your act together. I want to come to LA, but I would never like I'd be afraid of like, like all the sidewalks are a mess, your streets are a
Hey,
mess.
Laura's in the chat. Laura, if you want to pop
Oh,
on,
hey,
I can
Laura.
send you the link. Would you want to do that?
Yay. We're
I'm going
talking
to
about the
send her the
meetings.
link and see if she
And
wants to.
while she's
She
doing
can
that,
always just say no.
I just want to give her like we're talking about Yvonne going through the packet that on the agenda, there is a link. If anyone does want to look at the packet of what, all the agenda items, all the supporting documents for it, that link is in the agenda too. If anyone does want to do more research, and that's with any agenda item for any meeting, there's always a link for the documents.
Well, Laura's been an amazing addition to the calls and such a
Oh yeah.
valuable contributing member of whole um this whole scene. And so that's why when I saw her in chat, I'm like, I'm sending her the link.
Well,
Okay.
Laura, I've been telling her for like, we need people who actually know what goes on the inside, who knows that she speaks to what we can't
Mm-hmm.
speak to because we
Mm-hmm.
don't have the experience of what it's like, so and that's why I said,
Exactly.
always let them know you're born and raised that right there. Just, it changes they're going and then they're going to be leaning in and listen, and Nora does the same thing. And when Jamie
Mm-hmm.
called, it is so powerful. That's why it's yeah, we needed people who've been through it and actually in there as well. So I hope more will
No one
eventually
can
call.
speak to it as good as an inside person can.
Right.
I
And
mean,
and
no matter
because
how much we research it, we'll never know the ins and outs the way they do. Never.
right. And it's her experience, right? Like I did this at 9 years old. I was, I
Well,
did,
and currently going through it, the current trauma with her parents and with the fair
Mhm.
gaming. I mean, she's currently going through it still.
Yep. And then they would hold them responsible, saying you are letting them on but they're not on the public works board, but like the police commissioner. That's why I fight that all the time. It's like, here they are trying to destroy all of us, who are doing this, and it's like they're sitting on your CPABs. It's just ridiculous. But don't forget,
Yeah.
Laura has her concert on Saturday.
Yes, and there's a big memorial tomorrow for Lisa McPherson. Tomorrow marks the 30th anniversary of the passing of Lisa McPherson. She was only 36 years old. She was tied to a bed, locked in a room, soiling herself, denied food and water. She died of dehydration. 17 days and lost 40 pounds. Taken out of a hospital where she could have at least gotten water and at least gotten proper care. No, they took her out. They brought her back, tied her to a bed, and 17 days later, she's gone. I mean, you can't go but only so many days without water. And they need to be reminded of that on a yearly basis. And so tomorrow night,
Yes.
Lara and a bunch of people around the world are doing protests. And so keep an eye out for that. Um, Make sure you're subscribed to everybody so you can keep up with all of it. Scooter Mom's also going to be doing a stream linking all of the protests. So she's going to have a
Awesome.
lot of them linked there. So if you're not subscribed to everyone, you can go there and find it. You can go to fciento.space and find who's streaming it at that particular time. There's a lot of people that are going to be involved tomorrow. I'm doing a stream tomorrow. I'm doing like me and Becky and Lara are doing like the last ones for the night. And definitely Lara's the one to watch, if you ask me, out of us,
Yes.
because she's going to have a lot of people there with her, helping her up and backing her up. And she's going to be at Blue, I believe. So that's going to be the one to watch.
Yep. I
But
plan on going with Jules and Tatology, hopefully. To,
yeah, see what I mean? So there's going to
yeah,
be a lot of people there. Oh, Lara said she's driving right now, so she can't pop on. Okay.
it's okay. But
Next time.
next time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so she's
so
doing great with the
Friday or
meetings.
tomorrow is going to be all day long because Afila is kicking it off at 7 o'clock in Sydney, which equates to like 3 in the morning for us on it. But that's
Wow.
how early it's starting. It's starting early in the morning, 3 in the morning, and going until we wrap it up at Big Blue with you and Lara. And so it's going to be all day long tomorrow. And it's going to be amazing. And then, yeah, Lara has a show on Saturday. So
Mm-hmm.
try to support her. And I'm doing a knitting stream on Saturday. Don't feel you have to come for that. But what we do, what you might want to come for the knitting stream is we talk about all of this stuff. We're going to talk about all the Lisa McPherson memorials and the protests and the city works calls, and we go over all that while we knit.
That's
That's what I'm
awesome.
supposed to be knitting right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, and tomorrow, so it's for 4 to 9. I don't know what time I'm going to be there because I'm hopefully bringing someone, and I had to wait for them to get done work. But yeah, it should be really good. And I wish we had gotten something to like, I don't know, close this so that they can't have. I hope they didn't try to do something to like block it or something. We'll see.
Yeah, so audit's probably gonna be you're gonna be streaming, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so audit's going to be streaming, Lara's going to be streaming, and probably half the protesters there are going to be streaming. So there's going to be eyes on everyone, and there's going to be so much going on. It's going to be excellent. I advise you to pull up a different streamer on each one of your devices so you can like see the full dimension of everything. Like sometimes I'll have one up on my TV, one up on my tablet, and one up on my phone, all at the same location because you get to hear different parts of the conversation. You get to see different angles. It makes it really exciting, and I think tomorrow's going to be an exciting day
yeah,
for
I'm
our
excited.
movement.
And it,
Yeah.
and it like it's good for I always another shout out to Yvonne. Like sometimes like she's really good at being able to kind of like she's looking at with the
Oh my
analytical
gosh.
eyes for evidence of stuff,
You
like
know
of
who I
like,
forgot to shout out and mention? Haggis.
oh my
Haggis
gosh,
calls in,
yes,
and she isn't
Haggis.
usually at work, and she finds a way to call in. She calls in so often, and she has had some really good calls. She brings up points that I didn't even think of, and she drives it home, and she does an excellent job. So I'm glad I remembered her. Shout out to Haggis Basher. She's
Yes,
amazing.
she is. I know Miriam, like her, like I just love all these different,
Mm-hmm.
and so voices coming in, and everyone has their like the different thing, like one might be very passionate and the others just very calm and full of information,
Yeah.
and others which is really good, like
Yeah.
and as long as you're making it on point and you make sure it's within their purview, or like if it's even if it's public comment and it's not agenda item, it still has to be within the purview. That's probably really important to mention that for anyone who wants to start, new, it has to be under the purview of public works. So when you
Yeah.
think public works, think infrastructure, streets, any of those things, permits, anything like that, sanitation, engineering, all
Yeah.
those things. And so as
Sidewalks,
long as it's,
parking. And I
yep,
want to I want to quickly mention Fat Grammy. She hasn't been calling in as much cuz she's got her own things going on, but she has been such a consistent powerhouse in the movement and calls in so often, and she's been amazing too, so I definitely don't want to forget
absolutely.
Fat
Yeah, I didn't mean to
Grammy.
forget her. No, I can't forget, right, Fat Grammy Mona. And she's such a, like, people don't even realize, like, if you don't hear from her, it's not that she works, she does so much behind the scenes. Like people have no idea how much that woman works in this stuff, and it's amazing. And then always willing to help anyone that needs help to do whatever they're doing. I miss her. I
And
know in the morning she
such
has
a
something she can't
huge
call them, but
heart.
yes, yeah,
She's
I
got a
can't
heart
say
of
enough.
gold. Yeah. And
She's
she supports and accepts everyone. She doesn't care how effed up you are. If you think something else than she does, or if you're angry at her for something, she doesn't give a shit. She's still going to support you. She's still going to give you love. She's still going to give you space. And I love that about her. She's amazing. She's been a
she
great
is.
role model.
For me too. Yeah, because I know it's like when I'm like, if I'm stressed or whatever, it's like I'll call her, something, or something. She's always there, very, very calming,
Yeah.
good, shoulder to cry on. Like, I always think of her like the maternal figure of the, like
Yeah, me
if you
too.
need a mom or grandmom, it's
Me
Fat
too.
Grammy.
And like, I mean, she has been for a number of these people, like Serge and different people that rely on her for that. And she's been just such a powerhouse. And I greatly miss her morning streams and appreciate her. And I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, I know she is. I know in the mornings there's like a conflict of like, real life stuff
Uh,
at this point. And so hopefully she'll be, back if
I
schedules
can't tell you
change.
how many people recently have said that to me. Like, oh, I miss the Good Morning Sunshine streams.
I know. I just love it when you call her. It's like, hey, sunshine, how you doing? Like, it's just, I don't know. You always feel better just when like you
Yeah.
just find, hey, babe, it's okay. So I know, and like she doesn't. I know, like everyone, like I don't know. She deserves a lot because she's like really active, even though it doesn't seem like it. But she's so
Yeah.
active, behind the scenes, and she doesn't want any credit or she's not doing anything for that. She's
No.
just
Yeah, she's this warrior. That's why I picked her for International Women's Day and did that video for her for International Women's Day, because I think she's a remarkable powerhouse that's gentle and kind and supportive. And that's the kind of woman that I want myself and women of the generations behind me to emulate.
yes, and it's yeah, it's amazing. So shout out to Fat Grammy. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Laura. Next Thursday. Why did I think it was Saturday? I'm getting my times mixed up. It's like so her show is next Thursday.
Oh, next Thursday.
Okay. Why did I
Oh,
think
okay.
Saturday? Maybe it's that we were
I
talking about something else. I don't know. Sorry, Laura. But next
Probably. And then
Thursday.
once you said Saturday, I was like, okay, it's Saturday. Because I didn't know what day it was. I would love to be able to go to one of Laura's shows, but with the
I
seizure
know. She's
disorder, it's
amazing.
just impossible with the crowds
Yeah.
and stuff. But I do when people go to her shows and live stream, I watch her shows. I
People get
definitely
blown away. Like, yeah, I brought friends
uh-huh.
and they're like, wow. Like, yeah, she's really
Yeah. She's got such a great stage presence, and I love her music. And I've used her music a couple of times now. I used it once on a knitting stream where I told Laura's story and I cried telling it. And then I used a song of hers for one of the Gnome Roamer videos. I mean, I really appreciate her work and her artistry, and her stage presence on top of that just really it
yes.
makes it worth going to see. So if you guys are anywhere near the LA area next Thursday, Laura has a show. I can't remember. It's not at the Viper Room this time. She said where it was, and I can't remember the name of the place. But I'm sure if you go to Laura FM's YouTube
Hopefully she can
page, you'll
type it
find a
in.
post.
Type
Yeah.
it in,
Well, she's
Laura.
driving. She's
Oh yeah, no.
driving.
So then don't type it in. Those words. But she yeah, she's in her zone when she's on stage, and it's
Yeah.
like it's yeah. So everyone go out and show support for her too.
It's at the Virgil.
Oh, that's
She
right, the
said.
Virgil.
Yeah. I knew it was something with a V, like close to
And
Viper, but
what
I knew it
time,
wasn't the
Laura? What
Viper.
what time?
Well, they can Google it. They have to Google it to get tickets anyway and directions. So the Virgil in LA, check her out this
Yep,
Thursday.
yep.
And I think we covered everything. Is there anything else that we missed that you want to make sure to say, Mona?
Not really. I just
Why
like
did I
if any.
call you Mona?
Well, that's an honor. I appreciate that. Like, that's an
Audit.
honor.
I meant audit.
Uh, it's so close. But
Laura
well,
said
based.
it's 10 p.m. sharp and it's $15 a ticket, and it's a donation ticket. Uh, Free for SPs. Oh, wow.
Ooh,
That's exciting. That's exciting. You just make a donation then. I mean, yes, it's free. You can go for free, but a donation would be nice.
It would. And she has her merch out there. And she has really cute merch because she makes like a lot of that stuff herself. And so it's like artistic and
Yeah,
her
I
art.
like the little buttons she was making a few weeks back. I guess it was like a month ago now. She was making these buttons, and I was like, those are adorable. I want one of those.
Yeah.
So, and
And
she's got a
yeah,
lot of different things she sells.
she does. And so it's awesome. And just for closing, I would just want to say that like anyone that wants to call, if anyone has more questions or if they're concerned or excuse me, or if someone is like reading the agenda and something that say, hey, how can I connect this or whatever, I'm always open to reaching out to me. Please do because I encourage. I want to help anyone that's willing or wants to. Like I said, it is
And your
cathartic and it
email
is taking your
is
power back. It's
your
audit.
email is on your page, right?
It is audit.in.la@gmail.com. Reach out and then I would
Audit
say
dot in dot
in.la
la.
at gmail.com.
I'm putting it in chat. Gmail.com. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and you can reach out because and never. I just want everyone to feel like don't ever like. I know people get nervous, or if you're nervous speaking, you don't have to be like you're not going before. It's these are people who they're technically our right? They work for us
Mm,
technically, so it's like
yeah,
it's like think of it as like you're going to tell your employees how you want things done. Like don't just
yeah.
think of them like as this big power show because then that's intimidating. No, it's like you're there and you're telling them how you want your city, workers to be because, we're the ones that contribute. And so, right, we pay their salary, collectively. So if you have that kind of mindset, it kind of equalizes the playing field. And then and it's okay to mess up, right? It's okay if you get up there and you blank out and you don't know what you're saying. Don't be, it's nothing to
Well,
be embarrassed about. It's just go with it,
and
you know?
again, hot tip. Make sure audit's already signed in and then sign in because you can follow her lead. You could like just repeat literally what she said within your own words if you were really that nervous and kind of lost your train of thought and got nervous, you could just like figure out what you liked about what audit said and say that. I mean, I suggest you take notes, especially the first time, and work off your notes. But after you get going, you don't even have to do that anymore. You know what you want to say. You know what the next topic is, and you get comfortable, and you'll do it. It's not that hard. It's such a refreshing, powerful, cathartic way to
Mhm.
get all those things out that you were yelling at your TV or phone or tablet or computer that you saw going on, and that you're like, why isn't someone reporting this? Well, you're
Yep.
someone.
And
I'm
here we are.
someone. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's therapeutic. And yeah, and I always do try because I am mindful that there's maybe new people that, so I try to always be on, say, no later than 45, 15 minutes before the hour. So it's not that, oh, I'm trying to be first. That's not what I'm trying to do. But in a way I am, but not because it's like, oh, I want to be first. It's because in case somebody is new and they don't, they want that, to see, what I'm
Yeah.
doing that, I do try to do that but there's times I enjoy like when other people go first, and I like that. But I do try to do that just to try to have so like especially for the agenda items because I get really thrilled. Like it's like something personal. I get thrilled when I hear everybody, people
Yeah.
start tackling that, and so it's like okay, like I like so
Yeah.
I like go first in the sense so you guys can maybe pick up on okay, like oh that's how you can connect that. Like how would you connect this to
Yeah.
that, And so I
Same.
try to
And like Peter tackling agenda items, his very first time out of the gate, I was so impressed. I love that
yes.
Peter. Oh, Peter's here now. I spoke
Oh
him
hey
into
Peter.
existence. Hi,
Yes,
Peter.
and yeah, I'm glad he's calling. And well, he's very smart. He's always got, he's very smart too. And
And he's
so
been
like,
following and supporting for well over a year too. So it's not like he just popped into the scene. No, he's been encouraging, researching, supporting, and following this whole time.
yes,
So
for sure. And I
shout
know.
out to Peter.
Shout out to
All right. Well,
Peter.
I think we covered it for well enough for now. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask Audit or you could ask me. I might not know the answer, but I could figure it out. I could figure it out if maybe it's a question I need to know the answer to too. So feel free to reach out to me too. I'm antics of a mama squirrel at proton.me. And thank you so much, Audit, for coming on and speaking on all this with me tonight. It was
Yes,
such
and
an
thank
honor.
you. Yes, an honor for me. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for, because I love, love, love talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I love it. So thanks for the opportunity and thank everyone who has been here to join in. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who calls in, but even the people that just watch and click like and support us, that's invaluable and it's really, really appreciated. And thank you all.
Oh, here's a question. How do you get to the F Sciento space?
Yeah, you just type in fsciento dot space.
And then everyone
Yeah.
who's, yeah,
Yeah,
whoever's
here I'll
on.
type it in. Oop.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
You
Thank
know
you. Thank you. I
how
appreciate that.
Kakon's it'll say www or it used to www dot I don't know generic email .com. Well, it's just fsciento dot space instead of .com. So it's just that simple, just fsciento dot space, and it'll pull it up. He said he's going to
Yeah.
try again. So you had trouble. Well, you've got my email, Kakan. We can always work it out. So don't worry. We'll figure it out for you.
Yep. We'll try to get
Before
everyone hooked
tomorrow,
up
we
and
want to
plugged
figure
in.
it out so you can follow all the protests tomorrow. And you can also go to Scooter Mom. Scooter Mom's going to be restreaming everybody, and will be a great source. Make sure you watch the Cult Water crew in Clearwater. I know Dusty Soda Dispenser has been working on this and planning this for the whole year. And he's really passionate about it, and he does amazing things. And he's the nicest guy on YouTube's
He's so
and I
sweet.
say that all the time because it's true. He's such a sweetheart. He's such a generous spirit. And give him some support. I know Manning's going to be out tomorrow. Style's going to be in Chicago. There's
Yay for
people
Style. Oh,
around the
Style
globe.
calls in. She's called in. We can't forget
Yes.
Style Audit called in too.
Yeah, she is awesome too. I love her.
Me
She
too.
does great work. And then
Yes.
T in Australia is protesting. I think Miriam in Copenhagen is protesting. I mean, there's people all around the world going to be protesting tomorrow.
I
It's
love
a
it.
really big deal. But the grand finale will be LA with Laura and Audit. And I don't remember who else you said, Audit. Who else is going to be there?
Well, I'm hopefully going to be, because Jules and Tatology want to come, but so it'll
Nice.
probably be a little bit later. But yeah, so because
Fantastic.
they usually don't get time off for stuff, but I think tomorrow they
Yeah.
can, so they're excited.
So big
So
day in protest world, and then also with Winter Wonderland being open, I'm sure Streets LA is going to be out there screaming at someone. And Jessica Palmadessa, there's going to be people out in on force tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting day for our
yes,
community and for the protesters. So, thank you for coming again, Audit. I love you so much. I
yeah,
really
I love you
appreciate
too.
you.
I love you too, and I hope
I'll
see you tomorrow in the morning at 10
yeah,
a.m.
I was
and
just
hopefully
gonna
with
say
some
that.
new people.
I'll see you in the morning.
All righty. All right, bye
Bye,
guys.
guys.